lot of people know that. People are like, oh, it's natural, so might as well do it.
Yeah.
So.
It gives you a different feel. Like, I've never smoked cigarettes, so I never like them. I just don't like the smell of them. So I don't know how, if you smoke a cigarette, how that'll make you feel. But pot makes you actually feel something different, you know, like it doesn't.
What does it make you feel?
Just relaxed and like, just not normal, I guess, not sober. I don't know, just kind of relaxed.
And it's appealing to not feel normal.
Not normal, but like sometimes when you're really stressed out, you really like don't want to feel like that, so I think
it's numbing.
Yeah,
yeah,
the appeal. Yeah, it is appealing when you have a lot of things on your mind, because then it kind of gets you away from things. It really, you want to get away from your problems. And
yeah, but there are other ways to get away from your problems. I mean, people go to movies to get away from their reality, to get away from their own life, as opposed to numbing themselves. You know, so I'm just wondering why you choose that outlet as opposed to another outlet.
I mean, it's not that I'd rather, you know, smoke pot if I'm having problems rather than, you know, try and go do something else. It's just, you know, it's there, and I can also do something else while I am high or whatever. And, you know, it's just an addition to getting away from my problems. You know, if I were to have problems, all right, smoke some pot and go to the beach or something. You know, rather than just go to the beach, because you always have that speck in the back of your head, like, oh man, I got to get back to school and work and this and that. Well, when you're high, it's like, oh yeah, you know, I'm at the beach, and it's just so relaxing, and that's the.
So you're basically running away then.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, sooner or later you're going to have to face your problems.
Yeah.
So
But, I mean,
if you keep constantly smoking pot just to run away, when are you going to face them?
You
got to
do eventually face them, yeah.
So
But I
you
mean,
would
just
just
for
wanna
that.
push it off and do
We're
it
not
later.
saying that pot is better than, you know, facing your
Facing,
problems.
yeah.
It's just like sometimes you're not strong enough. Sometimes you need a break. Sometimes you need
Exactly.
to do something else besides facing your problems at that moment. So.
Yeah.
I think that does become the problem.
Yeah, pot is a problem.
It backs everything in your life up to the point where you don't know which goes where and what to do first because you've been putting it off so long. A lot of procrastinating happens.
You're really passive, and you don't. It's different.
So Rosalind, you don't do pot, is that correct? Correct. Okay, so how do you deal with your problems? They're saying that, you know, it numbs you, so you push off your problems. So if you don't do it, you know, you don't have that excuse to procrastinate. So how do you deal with your problems without doing it?
Sometimes I go shopping, or I sleep. I just stay in my room, lock myself up, and just sleep, or cry myself to sleep. But I don't know why they do it, but
I've done that too, and it just makes things worse for me. It affects people differently. Like, it makes you feel better, but when I do that, like, I've done it for so long that I don't even want to do that anymore. It's just like, it hurts more. So like, I guess when you get high, like, locked myself in my room and cried, and it just makes things worse because it makes me think more, and then, you know, like, just makes me more depressed. So that's why when I smoke, like, then I get to, like, you know, like, just be more passive and just, like, not even think about it. It helps me think about other things. But like, it's not right. I'm not going to keep doing that my whole life, you know. I know it's not good for me, so.
Well, all teenagers have problems, though. I mean, and they all somehow get through them. They all somehow deal with them. And not 100% of teenagers smoke pot.
Yeah, that's why we experiment. And the bad thing is that we get caught up with things, but people do have to understand that we experiment because we also stress out, so we drink to see how that feels. We smoke to see how that feels. We lock ourselves in our room to see how that feels. And some things are just not for certain people. So.
And I'm not saying that we smoke weed just because we have problems. I mean, or like because we want to get away from it. It's just because, I mean, it's there, and I mean, it is appealing. For what reason? I mean, I don't know. It's appealing, and it's there, so might as well do it. And I mean, it makes you feel good in the process. So. I mean, it's not that, oh, you know, I'm having problems, I got to go smoke a blunt or a joint or whatever, you know. It's like, well, you just do it because you do it. It's not because we're trying to run away from anything. Yeah, from my experiences, it's like a social drug also.
Yeah.
I mean, wherever you go, you'll find alcohol, but I mean, It's, I mean, any party, any teen party you go to, or like high school, college even, party, there's gonna be some weed and there's gonna be some alcohol.
But Rosalind goes to these same parties, or some of the parties, or a party, and she doesn't do it. So,
well, if you put it in terms like advertising, say for instance advertising, certain billboards appeal to certain people.
right.
They draw in, like, there's a certain group of people. Like, pot is kind of like, in a sense, like an advertisement. When you're around your peers, you look at them, you see it, they're advertising to you, look, this is what you should do too. And, you know, some people like Rosalind, it might be a little easier, but for the people like us who usually, like, I know I tried pot my freshman year of high school, so I started a little young. So when you get older and, like, again, the progression, it's like, okay. And eventually, like, you appeal to the advertisement a lot more, and that's, for me, how it is. It's like a party is an advertisement.
So is it more that you succumb to peer pressure?
It's just, yeah, I do think so.
Yeah,
definitely.
sometimes people make you
It's very
feel like
cliche,
if you
but-
smoke and you're like, oh no, thank you. They're like, oh what? Like they get really like
They do.
Yeah,
honestly, you feel.
yeah, and then you feel like, oh, I have to do it. Also, they're gonna think, you know, bad about me. Like, and that's an immature way to think, but that's
No,
how
but
it
a
is.
lot of teenagers think that way, and all teenagers go through moments of peer pressure. And I mean, that's a lot of the aspect of being a teen, is that you have these moments where people are saying, oh, you need to do this, or you should do this, and you want to fit in, and you want to, everybody, no matter how old you are, everybody wants to be liked, and you know, part of you as a teen may feel like, well, they may not like me as much if I don't do it, or, you know, you kind of just feel awkward if you're standing there not doing it and everybody else around you is doing it, you know, so that's to be expected. But you can also, you know, like Rosalind says no. How does peer pressure affect you?
It affects me, like, I feel left out sometimes, but I don't feel too left out that I'm actually going to do it. But I think about it. Are these people going to be in my future? They're not going to be like, they're not going to study for me for college. They're not going to, you know, so
Right.
it's up to me. So that's why I say no, and that's why I don't do it.
So how does it affect you, though, being around people who may do pot or may do drugs? I mean, does it, you know, lower your self-esteem? Does it just make you, does it motivate you more to, you know, do what you need to do to succeed in life? Because like you said, they're not going to study for you or whatnot. You know, so how does it affect you?
It puts me in a tight position because my friends do pot. So they're my friends, so I don't want to tell them what they can or cannot do.
Right.
But then again, they are my friends, so I care about them. I want to tell them, no, don't do this. So it kind of puts me in a tight position.
So do you find yourself ever telling them, no, don't do this? Or just being a friend and just kind of ignoring that they do it and accept them for that? Because I just think, I mean, if you're telling them, no, don't do this, then, you know, that kind of puts you in a hard place. You don't agree with it, but yet you don't want to be a motherly figure, you know.
Yeah.
So do you just accept them, or do you actually say, I don't like you to do this, or?
Well, I kind of accept them, but I tell them I don't want to do it. But sometimes when I'm around them and they're doing it, I feel kind of responsible, so I have to take care of them.
Right.
Or, like, I do have to be the motherly figure. And it makes me feel like I have to be, like, the sober one all the time. Where,
Right.
like, yeah.
And it puts more responsibility on you know, because if you go somewhere with them, they know that, okay, well, we can go off and do this because Rosalind's here and she's not going to be doing these things, so she can drive us home. She can, you know, take care of us if we stumble or whatever the case may be. But, I mean, you know, everyone's been sober around people who are drunk or, you know, doing whatever, and it's like you kind of feel left out, or you kind of feel like, well, maybe I'm not having as much fun because you feel like a babysitter. You know, you're the one who is the designated driver. You're the one, but at least there is a designated driver, which is the most important thing.
I don't drive.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind on that.